my channel and what will hopefully be my first successful ASMR video. I say successful because I tried recording this video last night, but for whatever reason, I couldn't really get the audio quite right. So if you're watching this now, that means I was able to do so. So that's quite the accomplishment, as I'm still brand new to recording audio. I had a couple of friends give me some tips though who do this a little bit more regularly, and one of my friends told me that I have to really lean into the microphone. It's called eating the mic, apparently. So maybe that will be something that really helps for this evening. And I thought for this video I could talk about my goals for 2021, as I am recording just a few days after the new year. Normally, I'm not someone who really puts a lot of stock in having specific goals starting after a new year, but for this particular year, it sort of feels right, and it just happened to fall at this time of year. So for 2021, I am going to be doing a couple of things differently. So instead, I am going to be reading some of the things that I want to accomplish this year, and by putting it out into the world, I think it's going to make me a little bit more accountable than usual. So I mentioned earlier that this is my first recording of an ASMR video, but I am by no means new to the ASMR community, and the videos that are here on YouTube. I first remember when ASMR videos started showing up. This was probably about 10 years ago or so now. And many people thought that they were sort of creepy or weird. So I'm really glad to see the attitude shift into something that's a little bit more accepted, as they've always helped me to relax. Like so many other people, I have a lot of goals for 2021 in particular. As you guys know, 2020 was not the best year for a number of reasons, and it was a very difficult year for a lot of people. So I think it's best to leave it in the past where it belongs and instead focus on what we want for our own lives and realize the power that we have by setting goals for ourselves. And for me to put these goals out into the world, these are in no particular order, just as they occurred to me to write them down. So we can get into it with the first bullet point that I have, which is to start journaling again. Not every day or anything like that, just journaling was something that I used to do either maybe every couple weeks or every week, depending on what's going on. And if you're anything like me, being able to put something that's going through your mind down on paper helps to make it live somewhere else and instead focus on other things. So that's something that I would like to make more of a habit. I'd also like to become a better cook. I've been slowly, over the past few years, getting better and better with my skills, but I am not quite where I'd like to be at the moment. So I'd like to continue to learn new recipes and new techniques and just overall raise my skill level on that. And faster than I have in years past, because eating and our diets are so important. This next one may be a little bit difficult, and I know many people can relate, but I'd like to keep my phone out of the bedroom, especially when I'm trying to go to sleep. Our cell phones are so portable, and it's very easy to just scroll or just look at Instagram or our social media, or just do nothing in particular that only takes away from the time that we could be sleeping. And that's something that I could really work on and to really help interested. This next one is probably the one I should have started with now that I look at it, because I feel like it is number one on almost everyone's resolutions, which is, this is the year that I am finally going to get in shape. I'm sure, as I was saying, that some people already knew exactly where I was going with that one. I've been staying at home much more than usual, and that's not unique to me. And as a result, I put on a little bit of weight. Not too much, but these are the times that we have to slowly start to right the ship, if you will, before it gets too bad, because it's much easier to start to make these things, such as exercising and eating better, part of a habit and not something that we just have to start one day because we've let it get out of control. So I'd like to start to make these things more of a routine, and really, especially with exercising, being more deliberate in setting aside time for that. Now that I look down the next few things on my list here, they're sort of all related, so I think it might be best just to talk about them all together, which is, I've been taking photography a lot more seriously for about 3 to 4 years. It's been since around the start of 2018, and this year in particular, I'd like to really work on putting together a more focused photo book. Usually I will put one together just filled with the photos that I've taken in that year. So from the start to the end of the year, and usually it's about somewhere in the neighborhood of around 25 to 30 photos that I feel exemplify my best work of a particular year. So, this past year, I wasn't really able sell them or anything. Usually, I just print out a couple for close friends of mine to give as gifts for the holidays. However, like I said before, I haven't, for this past year, but I'd also like to start a separate photography YouTube channel. Although it's possible that I'll do different videos on here talking about some photo related topics. And I'd like to be able to land twice the amount of photo jobs that I have for the past few years now, but I think that maybe that one was a little too ambitious with everything that's happening in the world, so that one may be a little bit unrealistic, but I'll still do my best and see if I can work on getting those jobs as well. But there are certain people that I'd like to work with this year, and that is also going to depend on how quickly we can sort of get back to more of a normal events, more of how things used to be that we all miss very much. So, those are all of my 2021 goals related to photography. This next one is also going to be depending on when particular businesses start reopening. But I'd very much like to go ice skating again now that it's the winter time and I haven't been in a little over a year now. It's been just a little bit longer than usual for extenuating circumstances, but it's something that I always enjoy. Not that I am a particularly good skater, it's just something that I really like doing. And I'd really like to be able to do a crossover backwards, because my backwards skating at the moment is a little rudimentary. So it would be nice to sort of up my game there. also like to read 5 books this year, which is about twice what I usually do. So it's a pretty big jump there. And I've been home a lot more, so I think that one may be a little bit easier to do. I'm sure many people are just like myself and have some books sitting on the bookshelf that at some point we want to pick up. And maybe if we're a little bit more serious about doing that, then it will be something that we actually are able to get to, rather than just looking at them on the shelf and wondering when we're going to make the time to do so. I'd also like to start playing guitar again. I am not a good player by any means. Again, it's just something that I enjoy and that I like playing around with and practicing, trying to play some of the songs that I really like. To give you some indication of my guitar playing ability, I don't really play for too many people, just some of my friends and other people who are very close to me. But when they can recognize the song that I am trying to play, that's always a great compliment to me, because it's never quite right, whether it's my timing is a little bit off, or my technique isn't quite right, or I can't quite figure out the coordination between both of my hands to play whatever song correctly. That's something that I'd like to be more deliberate in taking the time to practice and being able to really notice a difference in my ability. I'd really like to find more time in my schedule to volunteer more. Now that so many people really could use help. That it's something that I'd really like to carve out more time in my schedule for. I think that volunteering or just helping people is very important. Not that we need the events of the previous year to sort of guide us in that direction. But I think people getting together to help each other is really part of what makes a society better. So I could be better about doing that or proving that myself. This next one has also been something that's on my list for a little while now. The events that have happened in the last few months, I think have really put some things in perspective for myself and for other people. I don't think that I've been the best with pursuing the things that I want to do, but I, for a while, have been wanting to take a stand-up comedy class. A lot of this list is very dependent on things getting back to normal, and once it's safe to do so, that will definitely be something that I sign up for. Although maybe there's a class online or something now that I think about it, but I'd prefer to be able to take it in person, only because I feel like the medium is so dependent on presenting to people in an audience, whether it's a group of a few people or whether it's some of the shows that you'll see in a large theater or even a stadium. I'd also like to go skiing. I don't know if I am going to be able to do it this year, but normally I'll go at least once every year. Although last year I didn't go as well, so it's a longer than usual hiatus. I really enjoy skiing for some of the same reasons. I enjoy ice skating so much, which is that feeling of gliding and, in a way, sort of um, feeling free. That was sort of abstract, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to get at there. As I sort of skim down all of the remaining items that I have, I was reading it earlier, and I guess I didn't realize how many things depend on whether it's a certain business being reopened or whether it's an in-person activity. There's a lot of things on here that may not be feasible for the moment. But this one is to get a motorcycle license. Just for no other reason, just because it's been something that I've wanted to learn and try, because I think I'd really enjoy it. So that we'll have to wait a little bit until we can do in-person activities again. I'd like to also lower my resting heart rate, which probably could have gone with exercising more, but I just recently got a smartwatch as a gift from my parents. I'm actually not wearing it at the moment because it's charging, but I believe that it is the TicWatch Pro 3, I want to say. Although that's not too important which one it is. But like many of the smartwatches now, it's capable of being able to measure your vital signs. So, my resting heart rate is about a couple beats per minute higher than I'd like it to be. So I'd like to make a more concerted effort in lowering that for just my overall health and well-being. This next one is a little bit silly, but it's not silly if we're serious about achieving them. But with actually been playing video games a little bit more than usual. I used to really spend a lot more time playing games on my computer or on my PlayStation. Whether it's I had the PlayStation 3, but now I have a PlayStation 4. I'm still a little bit undecided whether I was gonna say to get the PlayStation 5, but it is out of stock everywhere now, so I guess maybe that decision has been made for me, but I have a feeling that I will be getting a PlayStation 5 at some point. But this has to do more with I was browsing the PlayStation Store now that they have some very good year-end deals. So I picked up Gran Turismo Sport. I've always been a fan of racing games, but haven't really taken the time to become better in the game, understanding some of the concepts of racing and spending more time in Need for Speed games, for example, or more arcade racing games. And instead, I'd like to focus on more of a realistic experience because I think it's more rewarding when you're able to see just how much progress that you've made and put the time in to make that happen. While I think that's true of any goal, I'd like to become better in that particular game. So that is going to do it for my list of goals for this year, as well as the video tonight. I hope that it helped you guys relax, and I appreciate you watching. If anyone has any constructive criticism, please leave it in the comments below. Keyword constructive, but I can't control what anyone else does. I can only make a request like I'm doing. And if anyone has any other suggestions or would like to see a particular video, please let me know also in the comments. Thank you everyone for watching, and good night.